On this video, we're going to set up the buy button for our store if we are selling something in our app. Now, the most important thing before we do this is that your sheet has to be properly configured. If we go to our data, and we can go, so I have a row ID, then I have an item name, description, tags, and then I have a price. Now, this price should always be a number column, right? If I click edit, you can see this column type is a number. I can also, if I have numbers like values with cents, I can have 2 cents or not. And I can have units. So in this case, I have the dollar sign, right? Now, if I go back to my layout, this tab is pointing to that items tab, okay? So I have my items here. If I click any of these, I go to the detailed view of these items, and then I will add the buy button. So you click the buy button here. Now, the first thing that you have to do is connect your Stripe account. In this case, I have already connected my Stripe account. You just click connect, it opens up Stripe, you click connect, and that's it. Now, an important thing here is that Glide charges 10% on free apps and 2% on pro apps. This is on top of what Stripe charges, which is 2 point something, right? So you have to keep that in mind. Now, you can choose any tile you want for the buy button. I'm going to leave this empty right now. Then you will choose a currency in which you will charge, and you have all of Stripe's currencies. If you have a shopping cart, so if you want your users to add several items to their shopping cart, then you will click this button, add to shopping cart. Otherwise, it'll be empty. If you are shipping physical goods, you can require the shipping address. Otherwise, if you are selling digital goods like ebooks, you can leave this empty. And then you can always display the Stripe logo at the bottom. Now, the most important part is this one, right? So the product info, you have to tell Stripe the values that you're going to use for the item. So for product, and these, all of them should be with something. I mean, you shouldn't have any empty values here. So name, obviously we have the name. Description, I have a description column. Image, I do have an image column as well. Then product ID, we can use, again, the name of the item, the row ID. You can have a different ID that you created yourself. And then the price should point to the price column. And remember, this has to be a numbers column. So in this case, if I click buy, let's go back for a moment. Let's go back to our buy button component. So let's add these to our shopping cart. So I'll click here. Now it changed the value to add to cart, right? So if I click add to cart, that item got added to my cart. Now the cart's not here. So you go to your tabs and move the shopping cart tab all the way up to your tabs. I think that's it. There we go. So now we have a shopping cart. If we click this button, then it will bring the items that I added to my cart. If I go back to my store, so now I can add several items to my store. I can go to the other item, I can click add to cart, and you can see these items are being added to the cart. Now, there's nothing you can do with the cart. The cart is living inside a Stripe, so you cannot edit this cart. You cannot edit the name. You cannot edit pretty much anything that you see here. You cannot add items by default, so you cannot add a tip. You cannot add an extra delivery fee, a service fee for any type. You cannot have that. The only thing that you can add are items and their specific price. Now, another limitation right now is that you cannot add multiple items or different amounts for each item, right? So the only way to do this is to click the add to cart as many times as items you want. So in this case, if I go back to my shopping cart, I have item number 2, and then I have 2 item numbers 4. If I click the checkout button, then this screen from Stripe comes up. Now, if you want to test how this works, you can use the 4242 test card. This test card will only work in the Glide Builder. If you use this card in a live app, it won't work. So in this case, we added the test card, which is 42 repeated as many times as possible. And then because we had requested the user, the client, for the shipping address, then this comes up. So users can always add their phone. We have shipping address. Then we have city, state, and zip code. And country. And then you click the place order. Now remember, I added the test card, so this creates the values in our sheet. So your order has been placed. If I click done, then my cart is empty. If I go to my sheet, I can see that Glide added this app sales tab in my Google Sheet. Now this app sales will not show up in your data in Glide. Right? We don't see that here, but we do see that here. So the app sales creates a new row for every item that you bought. So in this case, since we are using the purchase, the test card from Stripe, the purchased item and the amount come with this test purchase text before the actual item. As you can see, I added my name, my email, then the different items I bought. The SKU was the row ID. We have the amount, paid at, and then we have all the shipping information and a processor link that is linked to your Stripe account and your phone. So that's how you set up payments in Stripe. Now you can always change those values. If we go to our buy button, if you are selling digital goods, then you can uncheck the shopping cart and uncheck the required shipping address. So instead of adding items to your shopping cart, when you click buy, the Stripe screen comes up. In this case, it's only asking for my credit card, my zip code to validate that that credit card is linked to, it's a fraud protection system that Stripe has integrated, and then your email address and your name, and that's it. Now when you buy an item that way, then you don't have these values, the shipping address, the shipping country, address, zip code, and state. But that's how you set up your buy button in Stripe.